on Facebook that I had bit the bullet and went ahead and purchased the Arius Platinum plate and truck setup. And all I know is that there was, more than a few people that just had said, "Hey, I really want to hear your take on this, on the plate and everything." And just so you know, my entire life, I have skated a 45 degree. It was the first truck setup that I'd ever been on. It was my entire life, as far as like the first half of my life skating. When I got back into skating years later, the first setup that I got also was a 45. It wasn't an elite, setup at all, but it was a 45 degree. And then, when I upgraded my boot and I wanted to, upgrade my plates and, really looking for just to cut weight, on my skate setup. I had just figured I'd give the Reactor Pro a try. And that was my first 10-degree kingpin ever. And although it took, a little bit of adjustment, I think the second time I had rolled on it, it's probably one of the worst slams I've taken at least since skating again. I smashed the back of my head off this floor at this little local rink around here. I'm sure many of you guys have actually seen the video because I got the security footage from it. But once I got acclimated to it, it wasn't so bad. However, I will say, so I've been on it like a little bit more than a year, the Reactor Pro. And I know that I got used to it. I completely acclimated to it. The one thing that I had to do was I actually would have to go to Ron Murray to get custom cushions because for the action that I like in my trucks, believe it or not, I had to get harder cushions than what were available from Powerdyne. And that's because in order to get the action that I liked, I needed to loosen my trucks a little bit more than maybe normal. But what that would result in is me just chewing through cushions left and right. So although, it might not seem to make sense getting a harder cushion, it did make sense, factoring just because I was on a 10-degree kingpin with a loose truck. And that's what worked for me. Are there other workarounds? Yes, I'm sure, whatever. That's what worked for me. Um, and then last week I was skating and I noticed one of my uh, trucks kept coming loose, and I actually thought it was because they have the click lock system on the Reactor Pros, and I know those kind of can wear out. And I thought that's what it was initially, and then when I I couldn't tighten it, I couldn't torque it down. I realized that the kingpin was actually stripped. And look, there's an easy solution there, right? Just get a new kingpin, right? But I found this to be just a good excuse, reason, justification to go ahead and bite the bullet and get the Arius that I've been thinking about for more than a year now. Now, the other thing is with this is that I know that the Arius plate, for whatever reason, is like the most when it comes to like skate gear or like skate equipment, it's like the most polarizing piece of gear there is, right? People, it's like this 50-50 split as far as like what I've seen, as far as discussion online and just talking to people I know. It seems like this 50-50 split of very kind of definitive opinions, right? Like one is either like, oh, Mark, you're going to absolutely love this. I'll never skate anything different. I know you're going to love it. And then the other half is, completely overhyped, terrible, the whole nine, right? Like you hear everything. So, and even despite all that, I decided I wanted to try it anyway. And the reason is, because it might seem like, well, Mark, there's a 50-50 split there, why take a risk, And for me, it actually, even though it's a 50-50 risk among, everyone I talk to, the reality is that for the half of the people that I talk to that really love it and, were telling me that I would love it, they all kind of skate not the same way I do, but they utilize and require the same amount of action in their trucks that I do. Right? They're up on their edges as much as I am, right? And then I was able to really simply deduce as well that for the people that really don't like the Arius at all, and I want to make sure that I'm very upfront about the fact that I'm not. This isn't about like anyone skating better or worse or anything like that. Okay, but I noticed for the people that I talked to that didn't like it, they weren't up on their edges as much. They're more straight ahead, eight on the floor all the time, more speed oriented, right? Skaters. So it makes perfect sense, right? A 45, a true 45 on butterfly cushions isn't going to be the right thing for that type of skater, right? So for me, it just seemed like a no brainer. Okay. So that's the first thing. So that's why I decided to, and I always wanted to go back to that 45. I made the investment in the Reactor Pro. Uh, and to be honest, I probably would have sold it right off the bat. But what happened was I had and this I know that this has been a thing for people, but I actually tried when I went to put in a plug, a toe plug with a metal stem or a steel stem. Yes, I stripped it out, and it just, to sell, I didn't want to sell them to somebody like that, so I just was going to hang on to them for a little while, whatever. Just, so that was fine, whatever. So yeah, so I bit the bullet. I ordered them up, and man, it was really funny because of course, I absolutely thought that like, okay, now I'm going to have to adjust back to this, right? To this because this is like a true 45. I know some plate setups and truck setups, they're 45, but not like a complete true 45 as far as the angle going all the way through. And so I ordered the plates Monday from Brews Boutique. Hey, shout out to Brews Boutique for a plate that like is so uh, kind of 50-50 split as far as whether people like them or not. Everywhere that like stocks them as far as like online retailers, everybody except for Brews Boutique was out of size 10s. So, and I've seen that in the past too, like, so it's pretty interesting that I think I have a pretty standard size, pretty average size as far as, the right L plate and the right L boot. It's a 180 wheelbase, the size 10 plate. But Brews Boutique, shout out to you. I ordered it Monday, had it Thursday. I set it all up yesterday, just before going to the rink. I went to Overlook last night. And so, and look, not that I think that my opinion is some major thing. It's just that when I had posted the fact that I, had made the jump and I ordered the plates, I had multiple people in the comments saying, I'd love to hear what you have to say. So here's what I have to say. The first thing is, as soon as I stood up, right? As soon as I stood up and I just kind of rocked back and forth a little bit just to kind of check the actions, I went with the hardest cushions to start. Um, but as soon as I stood up and I kind of rocked back and forth just to kind of feel the truck movement and the action, I knew it. I knew it immediately. I was standing next to Sky Bill, and he's been really interested in the areas too, and we've talked about it a lot. And I looked at him immediately, and I said, "I'm home, baby. This is I know for a fact, like there is zero adjustment needed for this." Uh, and I went out on that floor, and it was immediate. Like I said, it was like it was like being at home, right? It felt it to the point where it made the last year or so, maybe a little bit more than a year, it made that last year of skating, it almost made it feel like I've been using someone else's feet that entire time. And I'm not saying that I'm some amazing, awesome elite skater by any stretch, but I can honestly tell you right now, as far as my own ability, I have not skated as well as I did last night in over a year. It wasn't even a question. So yes, the Arius for me is right on time. It is perfect for me. Every instinct that I had as far as how I skate, how I move, uh, the way I roll my ankles and everything, I just knew. I knew this was the right move for me. I'm so glad I went with my gut on this thing. And I'm really, really excited because the other thing is anytime I got online and I started asking people about the Arius, somebody invariably would tag Marshall Moore, right? Because that dude is an encyclopedia as far as information goes on modifying and upgrading and all that kind of stuff. The Arius, and he has a Facebook group that's specifically, caters to that. And the really cool thing is, I actually reached out to him Thursday and we went back and forth a little bit. It's going to be a couple months, but Marshall's going to come on the podcast, just in addition to just being a guest on the podcast. We are going to deep dive on the Arius because this dude is the encyclopedia of the Arius, right? Um, and so it'll be really cool, but like he wants to take some time beforehand because he wants to get materials together and parts that he doesn't quite like have right now, and literally just go through a complete breakdown of the Arius and how to modify them, maybe for you based on how you skate, maybe your size, your weight, all that kind of stuff. This dude has like every workaround for them. So I'm super excited for that. I mean, look, if it's not broke, I don't want to fix it, right? So, because I am stoked. You have no idea. I felt so good last night. I felt so good this morning, waking up, just thinking about this session, right? And yeah, man, I haven't felt so clean, so agile. I haven't felt my action so responsive and so in tune with just my natural movements. I haven't felt that in like a year. And what's funny is you get used to it, right? You get used to it. And it's like it's just really good news for me. Now, look, I'm not saying that everybody should go out and buy an Arius plate right now. That's not what I'm saying. People ask me what was my feedback on it. This is mine. This is my experience. And the funny thing is that my experience falls right in line with the people that, utilize their trucks and need the kind of action that I need, falls right in line with how they felt about it and how it worked for them, which was it just felt better than anything they ever skated. And I concur. Might not be the case for you. So please, I don't want to hear like don't go out and buy an Arius on my recommendation, right? Like, but yeah, man. Look, and I know that it's just one night, and obviously, I've tried out enough products, whether on skates or in many other different facets and avenues, where the first use is always the best, right? And it's like, okay, well, how's it hold up later? Okay. But I'm not even concerned about that, with this clinic that I'm going to have with Marshall Mort. I more than trust his opinion based on just the wealth of knowledge that he was able just in a Facebook Messenger thread. This dude like just hit me with so much information right off the bat. And that's just like 1% of everything that he has to offer. So keep it locked for that. Stay tuned for that, man. If you're considering an Arius, or if there's maybe if you're looking to modify yours a little bit, or whatever, right? If you're just just interested in general, right? Keep it locked for that. It's going to be a couple months. I have him scheduled tentatively for like 2 months from now, but that's just we just wanted to get a date in there for him. It'll give or take a couple weeks on that, but we are definitely going to sit down. It might be the longest pod we ever do, because I do want to talk to, maybe we'll do two pods, because I want to talk to Marshall just about his skate experience, and I also really want to do a deep dive on the area stuff. um, and I think it'll be a really cool thing for people to have, as far as like a one-stop shop. Like there'll be this spot, it'll be on YouTube and whatever, right? The full video episode, where he's gonna have parts and information, and he's just gonna, he wants to come to the table prepared. And I appreciate that a lot. So keep an eye out. I'll definitely keep you guys posted on those announcements. One last thing, I just wanted to throw it out there to you guys. Philly, the Tri Rink, the third annual Tri Rink presented by Big Daddy Ray, is actually, it's coming. It's fast approaching. April 11th, 12th, and 13th. Um, so the April 11th, a Friday night at Skate 47 main event at Philly Skateplex, April 12th, and April 13th at the rink in Edgewater for that Sunday. DJ Jams, Tito T, Mad Hatter, Sean Orshin, AJ Funk, just going to be a killer lineup. Uh, really looking forward to it. We got a bunch of raffles and cool things that uh, that you could win from Bont and just a bunch of different stuff. But so keep it locked. You can check out the Philly Tri Rink Facebook page for more information. But yeah, Friday 11th, Saturday the 12th, and Sunday the 13th, the Philly Tri Rink, the third annual, presented by Big Daddy Ray. So I hope to see you guys all there. Skate Like You is going to be in attendance. Can't wait to see it. Can't wait to skate with you. Can't wait to talk with you. I hope that this answered your questions, though, as far as my experience with the Arius plate. It is by far, it made my skating the most effortless and seamless that I could ever remember. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. So excited. I'm headed back to the rink tonight to get on it again. Yeah, man, I'm stoked. If you're going to be in Philly tonight, I'll see you at Philly. 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock. DJ Rectic is going to be. I'm not. I think that's how you say his name, but he's going to be in the booth tonight. Philly Skateplex, the late skate, 11 o'clock. If you're going to be there, I will see you there. Other than that, guys, skate like you. Have a good one.